Hi everybody, I'm here with Robbie again because we are going to work on function machines again. Remember, Robbie the robot is a function machine. He changes numbers. You can put a number in and he changes it and a different number comes out. Now, so far when we've done function machines, we have been guessing what's the rule. So we've been trying to figure out what Robbie is adding or subtracting when the number goes in his head. Today, we're going to learn a different strategy to use with Robbie. What if Robbie told us his rule ahead of time, and he told us the number that came out ahead of time? What if we had to guess the number that went in his head and figure out that as the mystery? Ooh, that sounds really tricky. Let's give it a try. So first we'll start with a really easy one. Robbie's going to tell us that his rule is to add 1. Okay, so I'm going to put that right down here in front of him. He is going to add 1 when a number goes in and a different number comes out. Okay, let's see what number comes out of Robbie, because we know that we're missing the number that goes in. Here's the number that comes out. It is a 5. Okay. He's telling us 5 came out. The thing he did to the number that went in was to add 1. What number went in his head at the beginning? Our job is to figure that out. A way that you can do this is to write a number sentence. So one way would be to say something plus 1 equals 5, because we just found out that the number that came out was 5. We know he added 1 to it. We have to figure out the something. Now, in order to figure that out, we can flip this number sentence around. Maybe you already know the answer, and if you do, that's wonderful. We can flip this around to say 5 minus 1 equals something. Remember, when we do fact families, we come up with 4 number sentences using the same 3 numbers. These would be like 2 number sentences that go with each other, right? What is 5 minus 1? Oh, it's 4. Let's see if that works here too. 4 plus 1 equals 5. Does that work? Sure does. So the 3 numbers in that fact family would be 4 and 1 and 5. We just figured out that the number that went in Robbie's head was a 4. All right, let's try another one. Okay, we know that the rule is still add 1. You can see that down here on Robbie's front. Let's find a number, or find out what number came out. Here we go. We have an 8. He says 8 came out. What number went in Robbie's head? I'm going to let you think about that and figure it out. Something plus 1 equals the 8 that came out. That's right. It would be 7. 7 plus 1 equals 8. So 7 was the number that went in, 8 was the number that came out. Let's make it a little bit harder. Robbie's new rule is going to be to add 3. Okay, so we'll put that down here on the front of the robot. Now I'm going to show you the number that Robbie is putting out. Our job is to figure out what number went in, and then he added 3 to it. Here we go. So here is the number. It's a 5. 5 is what came out. That means a different number went in and he added 3 to the number. Let's write this down in a number sentence because this is a little trickier than just adding or subtracting 1. We said, well, let me come over here, something plus 3 equals 5. Maybe that helps you to visualize it a little bit better. Something plus 3 equals 5. We can flip that around to turn it into a subtraction sentence. Maybe thinking about it that way is a little easier for some of us. So if I turn this into a subtraction sentence, it's kind of like being in a fact family, right? 5 minus 3 equals, well, 5, take 1, 1, 2, 3 equals 2. Now let's check our work and see if it makes sense at the top too. If 5 minus 3 equals 2, does 2 plus 3 equal 5? Check my math. Yes, it does. So what number went into Robbie's head? It was a 2. A 2 went into Robbie's head to get us the 5 at the end. He added 3 to it. We're going to do one more of these and then move on to our math journal. Okay, Robbie is keeping the add 3 rule, and let's find out what the number that came out was. It's a 10. So we know that something smaller than 10 went into his head because he added 3 to that number and it got bigger. That means we can write a number sentence like something plus 3 equals 10. I can also flip that around to a subtraction sentence using the big number as the first number because it would be the biggest number, the daddy number. 10 minus 3 equals something. Can you do the math? So if you did the math, hopefully you came up with 10 minus 3 equals 7. And let's check that out. Does 7 plus 3 equal 10? Well, if I have 7, let me say 7, 8, 9, 10, sure does. So the number that went into Robbie's head must have been a 7. 7 plus 3 equals the 10 that we got in the end. Okay, we get to try this in our math journals now. Okay, will you get out your math journal and open it to page 152? 152. Every time we see a page that says, "What's my rule?" that means we're going to be working on function machines, or Robbie the robot, as I like to call a function machine. Today's page has a mixture of different things that we're going to do. Sometimes we have to find the rule. Sometimes it tells us the rule and we have to find the out number. Sometimes we have to find the in number like we were just practicing with Robbie. Let's get started. Number 1 says, find the rule. If 5 goes in and 9 comes out, what is the rule? I'm going to let you figure that out on your own. You know how to count up from 5 to 9 to figure that out. After you figure out what the rule is, you get to fill this in down here. Now, you are going to be showing me this math journal page on Seesaw after we're done here. So I expect you to do the answers and answer them correctly. All right, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 says, fill in the blanks. The rule is subtract 10, okay? If 16 goes in to Robbie's head and he subtracts 10, what number do we get coming out? 16 minus 10. I'm going to flip to the back of my journal where I see a number grid and make this really easy. 16 minus 10, boop, is 6. Okay, but wait a second. The next one shows a missing in number. How do we solve those again? I just showed you on my whiteboard with Robbie how to solve the missing in number. If we don't know what went in the function machine, but we do know that the rule is to subtract 10, we do know the number that came out was 12, then we can write a number sentence to go along with that, right? This always helps me when I'm trying to figure out what these in numbers are. I need to usually see it in a number sentence in order for it to make sense to me. So we said something minus 10 equals 12. Something minus 10 equals 12. Our job is to figure out what that something is. I like to flip it around to make it a number sentence that goes the other way. It makes it a little easier for me to visualize. What I mean by that is I'm going to take both of those numbers and put them on this side of the equal sign. I had to flip the sign too because this is another sentence in that fact family, right? So this would say 10 plus 12 equals, all right, I don't know what 10 plus 12 is, but I know how to find it. I'm going to look right in the back of my book to see the number grid. 10 plus 12, I have 12 and I hop 10, boop. One hop down on the number grid means plus 10, and I landed on 22 because 10 plus 12 is 22. So now I can say that 22 is the in number. Let's see if you can see this here. And 12 is the out number. All right, I'm going to let you figure out this next one. We know the in number. That makes it a little bit easier. 23 minus 10. Fill in the out number, and then you get to make up your own right here. Number 3 says, what comes out? Ooh, these are a lot easier than trying to figure out what went in. So we know the rule is plus 5. It tells us right here. So you have to figure out 5 plus 5. What is that? 6 plus 5, 8 plus 5, and then your turn. I'm going to let you figure all those out. Pause the video if you need a few minutes to do that. Number 4 says, what goes in? Okay, that's what we learned today with Robbie the robot. So if we know the rule, we know it's minus 2. We know the out numbers. We have to figure out the in numbers. Okay. So something minus 2 equals 5. That's like saying 5 plus 2 equals something. What is 5 plus 2? I said 5, 6, 7. It's 7, right? Better write that down. That's the in number. Something minus 2 equals 9. What is that something? Well, that's like saying 9 plus 2 equals something. You figure that out and write it down. Something minus 2 equals 3. That's like saying 3 plus 2 equals something. Write that something down right here. You get to figure out your own answers right here as well. All right, for the last 2 questions in the math journal here, it's asking you to make up your own. you can choose any numbers and any rule that you want, but the numbers that you put in have to follow your rule and come out correctly. Pretend you have your own Robbie the Robot at home and you're putting numbers in and different numbers are coming out. Today, when you take a picture of your math journal to post to me on Seesaw, can you make sure that you open your book like this so I can see all of the work that you did? See how when I fold my book backwards like this, you can't really see all of the numbers that I wrote over here? I just want to be able to see all your hard work. So open up your book so that I can see all of your numbers, even though we didn't do this next page, and I'm not assigning that for today. After you finish page 152, post that picture of it on Seesaw, and then you are finished with math for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.